it's a pleasure for me to debate with someone who quite literally is a Christian. In other words, is a Bible-believing, takes it all, as it were, I hope you wouldn't mind my saying, literally. Because I very often find in debates with the religious that, as I did at a Templeton event, which some of your students came to recently, I was debating a Catholic.
Yeah,
I was debating a Catholic Monsignor. Well, you saw he wouldn't really stick up for his faith at all.
Right.
He was as close to being secular as you could be. So I couldn't attack what I know Catholic doctrine to be because he wouldn't stick up for it.
Right. It seemed.
Whereas
it seemed
with
like
Douglas Wilson, there's no such problem. He's he's the real deal. So that is relatively uncommon for me to find someone who'll do that.
So who would you say is the most formidable Christian you've ever discussed with? Where does Douglas chart in that spectrum?
Well, pretty high. This is only our first, and we haven't done a formal set-piece debate yet. This is more like a town hall. But of others who I've debated with, Dinesh D'Souza, who I debated with under auspices of the Kings, as a matter of fact, at the New York Society for Ethical Culture a while back, is very good. He's very learned, and he has a much better understanding of the atheist position. He could, I'm sure, if he was asked to do it for a wager, he could probably make an atheist speech that would persuade you. About that, I'm not so sure with Douglas Wilson, that he understands what my position is. I actually got some indication today that he doesn't, but believe me, as we travel around over the next couple of days, he bloody well is going to find out what my position is.
Just to sort of revisit that question, that morality question, it's obviously, to the Christian audience, it's something that it really sticks with them, that they
Yes.
have to have an answer on, and you seem like a little bit more okay with saying, well, it's okay if we aren't sure about that, or if we're... It doesn't seem like it's as crucial a definition to you. Is that correct? Or
the fact that our species, and not only our species, but by the way, because other animals manifest it too, does demonstrate concern for others above and beyond ourselves. But that's commonly thought to be what morality consists of, is caring about other people or other creatures. Other creatures do it, and we do too. There is no mystery about this, in my view. It is not a gift from God. To call it that is to make an uninteresting claim. What does that prove if it's true? It would seem to me to have the implication that there's no need to strive for morality, since it comes, as it were, free from paradise. Well, I don't think it does. So, but if you take my materialist explanation for its origins, then there's nothing left unexplained. That would explain all what otherwise are ridiculous inconsistencies. How come that we're made in the image of God, but we're only partly moral? Okay, that's a mystery for you. It's a pain you've invented for yourselves that you could do without. You can just forget it. You don't have to worry about that anymore. It's a pointless, sterile proposition.
I'll turn more to more current events topics we didn't really get to talk about. You've written a lot about both candidates and we're almost at the end of this interminable ordeal.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say is the big idea to take from this, I would say, fairly unusual election, from the crazy Democratic primary to John McCain's sad sort of floundering in the last month or so?
I think it's really demonstrated yet again the great lesson that I've learned from politics, which is an incredibly simple one. And I can't believe it took me so long, really, but that personality and character counts above all. I mean, when you think about it, it's so obvious, but we spend quite a lot of the time affecting or pretending to deny it. So, no, let's discuss the big issues, not the personalities. Well, actually, the big issues don't get raised very well in an election of this kind, which is all to do with trying to move swing states a few inches in one direction or another. Big issues don't come up. Furthermore, I have news for you. A politician can promise you something about an issue. He can say, I'll cut your taxes, and maybe he won't. He might end up paying the same, or even more. But he can't change the fact, if it is a fact, that he's a crook, or a liar, or a psycho, or a weakling, or that he's too old, physically and mentally, for the job. And John McCain has succeeded in demonstrating that much in the campaign. He shouldn't be doing this to himself. Someone should take him to one side, take him off somewhere restful. I've actually made my decision to vote entirely on that basis. I could have been led to vote Republican this year with some persuasion, because I'm really a single-issue voter on the war on Islamic Jihad.
Yeah, and
but I can't vote for John McCain to be President of the United States. It wouldn't be a responsible thing to do.
Right. I would agree with you on that. It's
Let alone his Pentecostal raving Philistine of a running mate who believes in witchcraft. Don't laugh, she does.
No, I agree. The video is there. I've seen it.
Oh. Extraordinary. What an insult.
You've written a lot about the threat of Islamic Jihad, of Islamic fascism, and you say you're a single-issue voter on that. Is that something that you think that Barack Obama takes seriously?
Oh, yeah. And actually, all the changes and modifications to his position over the course of the campaign have all, in my judgment, been in the right direction. I think he's quite open to persuasion and to evidence on it. The problem is that it isn't, I was about to say innate again, it isn't second nature to him to instantly decide, okay, this is an enemy that we can't walk around or walk away from. He can be led to believe and shown that that is true, but I would have thought I would be more happy with someone who didn't need to be told these things. However, to say of someone that they can be educated is a great compliment. Whereas I think with McCain, it would be very difficult to persuade him he's wrong on anything.
And he would, I'm sure he does take that, you would say, he does take that seriously and would respond strongly, but what you would say his...
Well, I also am afraid, I'm quite honestly afraid now that he might react erratically. I really think his capacity has been severely diminished.
And as I was reading something yesterday on, someone discovered an old interview of him saying, this was not his redistribution interview, but another one where he talked about how he attended socialist rallies and was friends with Marxist professors, and that sort of sent around.
I haven't seen that.
My conservative friends as a scare story. As someone who's come from that, has formerly been a Marxist, how concerned would you be about that? Is that something?
I know that world of around the University of Chicago in Hyde Park. I know quite a lot of the people who are denizens of it. They're pretty milk and water Marxists, I must say. And Bill Ayers is a sort of extinct volcano. And there's something about Obama that makes me sure, and I think most of the rest of the electorate pretty sure too, that he doesn't have a secret communist agenda. It's not on. Exactly. It is very interesting, though. I mean, he's got the most left background of anyone who's ever come close to being president of the United States. I mean, it's really quite extraordinary when you think about it. But I have a feeling this is maybe true of quite a lot of the rest of him too, that it was somewhat superficial and a bit shallow. That's what we're all looking for in him, is a sign of something a bit more than a good temperament and a nice character, but a bit of depth and a bit of muscle, and an ability to make up his mind. All these things are somewhat lacking. I don't think the political class, the political system served us very well this year with the choice of candidates, at any stage.